Good evening, and it's a Monday evening, and I've managed to drag myself off the sofa and get in the shed, where I'm gonna start this up and let you have a listen to the GS1000 with its, what I presume is a stock exhaust on it, which I've taken the baffles out of. So I'm just going to do a few different angles, starting the bike up and giving it a little rev. I've had it running for a little while, and then that will lead into me changing the exhaust. I've got a Delkevic 4:1 going on it for reasons of on the joins on this one there's a few bits of rust, but this left hand pipe, this one here, which is a bit hot to touch at the moment, underneath got squashed when I had my crash, and yeah, I want to change it out. The other reason is because, let's take you off the stand. The other reason is because of this design faux pas. You can't get the rear axle out of the rear wheel without actually taking the exhaust, well, the left hand exhaust pipe off, which is a bit of a chore. So I thought, with the damage at the front here, under here, it's all nicely flattened. Looking at this one, this pipe, this header should I say, compared with the one on the right, this has been pushed in slightly as well. So I've decided to swap the exhaust for a Delkevic 4:1. But anyway, I'll start it up, you can have a listen to it, and then I'll get on with changing it. And there you go. That's the sound of my GS1000 on its, I believe, standard exhausts without the baffles in. So, zip them off, put the new ones on. Okay, on this beautiful Saturday afternoon, where it must be close to 20 degrees outside, which is too hot. Already complaining about the hot weather. I'm going to take my exhausts off my GS1000 and give that front end a bit of a clean up. Not too much, but just enough. And then see if that frame needs a bit of painting. There's a bit of rust going on up on the frame here. So yes, exhausts are coming off, and it will be really easy because I've been bathing the nuts and studs in penetrating oil for over a week, and I've actually had them off, but I put them back on so I could I took the nuts off, not the exhaust. I put them back on because I wanted to start it up and get a bit of a sound check before I finally get rid of the exhausts and put the Delkevic system on. So yes, I know this is going to be an easy header bolt removal, header nut removal in fact. So I'll get on with that. So next stage in my operation of taking the exhaust off will be to undo the 4 clamps underneath to get that separation, and then it's finally the exhaust bracket bolts at the back, and then it should all just fall away beautifully in theory. Right, spanner. Okay, that's the 4 clamps undone underneath, and then there's a bracket. And then there's a bracket just here where my strap is. Just in there, or just out the way, I think. What are we looking at? 17 maybe. So the trick was more about pulling the header pipe this way rather than taking the end pipe that way. So on to the next. One side down and one to go. Right, exhaust hanger bolt, and then that's the right hand side done. Okay, there's the exhaust fully off, and now to give this front area a little bit of a clean up. I don't want, again, same as the forks, I don't want it immaculate, but just tidy looking, so I'll get on with that. That seems like a bit of a daunting prospect for me, being that I don't overly like cleaning the bikes. I just want to ride them and obviously strip them to bits. Yeah, I'll get on with that. I won't bore you with the detail. That's the before, and momentarily I'll show you the after. Well, that's the cleaning I'm doing, and once again I've looked after the patinaed look but got rid of all the dirt. It's looking a lot cleaner, and it's looking 40 years old, which is pretty much where I'm aiming for, I think. I'll probably get to the end of it, take it out for a ride and think, why didn't I spend a bit more time? But I'm an impatient person and I want my old bike to look old, which is lucky because that's what it's going to do. Anyway, that's done in my eyes. Now to fit the new exhaust. Which is all laid out ready. So time to start fixing it on. Okay, so all the exhausts are clearly marked, this being number 1, and I believe you go from the left hand side to the right. So I've put a copper washer in there, exhaust gasket in there, and I'll just start hanging the pipes off loosely. Okay, that's the 4 pipes hanging. Now to work out how the 4 into 1 goes together and where it pokes out the side. And there you go. And if ever anyone was wondering, yes, you can still use the centre stand with a Delkevic 4 into 1. I don't think you're meant to lose any ground clearance as such, although that does look lower than the previous setup. Obviously lean angle, because it goes underneath the bike, lean angle should be uncompromised. But yes, I think your ground clearance is compromised. Okay, so that's that mocked up. And it all has just been on loosely with the old nuts. I haven't used washers or anything. It is just a mock-up. So now I'll go back through. Hopefully I've got enough new nuts to go on. And a bit of copper slip in the nuts and a bit of copper slip in your nuts. Woo! And then go back through and replace the nuts and washers and starting tightening things up. And also in the collector, in the 4:1 collector bit, stick some exhaust sealant in, which is supplied with the kit. Not the biggest of tubes. So yeah, I'll get on with that. So I'm going to slather, that's a good word, the inside of the 4:1 piece, and then shove the exhaust in it. What more is there to say? That all seems tight, so I'll just get the springs and put them across, hold that all in place before I do the heads up. Okay, couple of springs to go on this side. I've already done the other side. Cheeky of me, I know. The tool that they supply is a little bit flimsy. It do the job, but it's a little bit flimsy. I already had a T-bar version, which gives you a lot more to get hold of at the top instead of this silly little loop. So, might be a worthy upgrade. Might not, it's up to you. So that's them for all together, tight as anything, and with the exhaust sealant in there, which I've just got to wipe off the excess now. Might have to take the springs back off actually to be able to get in there to get the excess, but I will do that. And then onto the front. So once again, on checking in the Haynes manual for the torque wrench settings for the downpipe clamp bolts, there's nothing in the torque wrench settings. The only sort of reference you've got is this section here that just says slacken the bolts holding the 4 exhaust pipes and take it off. So again, I've gone on to my GS1000 book, which has exhaust downpipe clamp bolts, 23 Newton meters. So that's what I'll be doing, Matt, unless it feels far too tight. Other downside, I haven't got enough of the nuts, of new nuts, so I'll have to invest in some more of them. These are a type of lock nut. I don't know if you can see inside there. I'd rather use all of those than these dodgy ones, so I'll get some more and change them at a later date. But once again, this Bible is not so much a Bible. Let me down. Anyway, let's get on with assembling the head. Right, all I'm going to do to swap these over is take these old nuts off and replace them with stainless steel ones and a washer. The lock ones I'll put on the 2 inner pipes, the harder to get to ones, and then when I get the new supply of lock nuts, I'll do the outer 2 pipes, and I'll put a bit of copper ease on all the studs, so hopefully anytime I want to take it off it doesn't seize, or it hasn't seized. Okay, that's them done up. I've done them up to 20 Newton meters, and I'm going to see whether it leaks or not. It was just getting that tight. I didn't want to break any studs or anything, so I've just gone to 20 Newton meters at the moment. I could feel, well, hopefully what I could feel was the copper exhaust gaskets being crushed, but as I say, it didn't feel nice doing them up to 20 Newton meters. So I'll leave it at that and see how it runs. If it needs that little bit more to shut it up, then it will get it, but I'm confident 20 is going to be enough. I certainly don't want to be snapping studs at this late stage in the build. In the build? What are you on about? In the fitment of the exhaust, should I say. Right, okay, that's this end done. Last part of the puzzle. The end can. Beautiful. So first of all, put the exhaust clamp on, and then the last bit of exhaust sealant. Just put the exhaust clamp into position loosely. Not the exhaust clamp, exhaust bracket. To line this up properly, and then bring the clamp back. Let's wipe some of the excess off first. Okay, that's that all tight and hopefully sealed right the way through. I'm not going to worry too much about the rear bracket because I haven't got the right size bolt. The one that came off from the last exhaust was this little stubby fella, and as you can see, this sticks out a lot further than the old bracket. So as you can see, I've put an M8 bolt through, which I can tighten up and clamp it all up if I want to go and ride it, but the bolt that came out the previous exhaust bracket was just a little stubby one like this, and I haven't got anything longer. This is a M10 with a 1.5 pitch thread on it, and I've only got 1.75 pitch M10s, or ones with the same pitch but still not long enough, so I'll have to order some. So I've just stuck that in there just to get an idea of where the bracket and everything's going to come. I've got a nylon bushing in between, and then the whole thing will get pulled into the frame beautifully without putting too much stress on the rest of the exhaust system. So yes, I'm just going to order some M10s. So that's pretty much done. So the only thing left to do is to start it up and hear if it sounds as good as it looks. Oh, I think that passes as a decent sound check. well, that's my Delkevic exhaust fitted to my GS1000. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra.